Dad, please, I just wanted to sleep in a real room this Christmas. Lauren's trembling voice echoes down the icy hallway of the mansion, mixing with the distant sound of bells ringing from the neighborhood church. The words float in the frigid pre-dawn air like mist, carrying years of silent pain and wounded hope. Outside, snow falls softly on the garden decorated with golden lights, but inside that tiny room at the back of the house, there is no warmth, no light, no love. Dad, please, I just wish you would see me. The muffled sobs of a 16-year-old girl are lost between the peeling walls, and the heavy silence of Christmas night swallows the plea that no one, until that moment, had ever heard. But let's go back 24 hours, to Christmas Eve, when the sun had not yet risen and the Hamilton mansion slept in apparent peace. It is 5 in the morning on December 24th, and the cheap alarm clock in the small servants' room rings with an irritating insistence, shattering the dawn silence. Lauren opens her eyes slowly, her body aching from sleeping on a thin, old mattress that lost any capacity for comfort years ago. The threadbare blanket barely protects her from the cold, seeping through the cracks in the broken window, and she curls up for an instant, trying to steal a few more seconds of rest. But there is no time for that. There is never time. With a mechanical movement, the result of 6 years of imposed routine, Lauren gets up, her bare feet touching the frigid cement floor, and searches blindly for the simple uniform hanging on a rusty nail in the wall. The small room where Lauren sleeps is at the back of the mansion, separated from the main house by a narrow corridor that leads to the service area. It is, at most, 60 square feet, a single bed pressed against the wall, an old wooden wardrobe with no door where her few clothes fit, and a dim bulb hanging from the ceiling that flickers when it rains. The wall is water-damaged, dark stains of moisture climbing like sinister fingers, and the smell of mold mixes with a cold that never leaves, even on the hottest summer days. There is no heater, no television, no mirror, just a small window that looks out onto the high back wall, blocking any view of the garden where the family gathers. This has been Lauren's world for 6 years. 4 peeling walls, a hard bed, and the loneliness that has become her most faithful companion. As Lauren puts on the uniform old black pants, a white blouse with stains that no longer wash out, and worn-out shoes that pinch her feather eyes land on the only precious thing she owns, an old photograph of her mother hidden beneath the mattress. The image is yellowed, the edges torn from being held so often, but the smile of the woman in the photograph still shines with tenderness. Lauren picks up the photo with trembling hands, gently kisses her mother's face, and whispers as she does every morning, "Good morning, Mommy. Maybe this Christmas, maybe he'll finally see me for real." The hope in those words is fragile, almost pathetic, but it is all Lauren has. She puts the photo back, carefully, like someone guarding their only remaining treasure, and leaves the room in silence, ready for another day of serving a family that should have been hers, but which had long since stopped treating her as part of it. The Hamiltons' mansion is imposing, luxurious, worthy of the covers of architecture magazines. 3 floors of Italian marble, imported crystal chandeliers, European designer furniture, and a 13-foot Christmas tree in the main living room, decorated with golden ornaments that cost more than a minimum wage paycheck. The wide windows overlook a garden with a heated pool, a fine wooden gazebo, and statues that look like they were stolen from a museum. Everything breathes wealth, good taste, success. But Lauren doesn't live in this world. She just cleans it, straightens it, and serves it. As she walks down the cold hallway toward the kitchen, her silent footsteps disturb no one's sleep, because she learned long ago to become invisible, to make no noise, to not exist. In the enormous kitchen, with its granite countertops and state-of-the-art appliances, Lauren begins the routine she knows by heart. She prepares coffee in the expensive pot, takes out the fresh bread the day Maid left the night before, and arranges the fine china cups on the silver tray. Her movements are precise, almost robotic. She cannot make a mistake, cannot break anything, cannot give them a reason to reprimand her. As she works, Lauren looks out the kitchen window and sees the snow beginning to fall outside, covering the garden in a white blanket that looks like something out of a Christmas movie. Inside the heated house, the family will soon wake up to a day of celebration, expensive gifts, and a lavish supper. But Lauren knows that for her, Christmas will be just like every other day for the past 6 years. Work, silence, and a loneliness that hurts more than any cold. At 7 in the morning, the house begins to stir. The first to appear is Christine, the stepmother, descending the stairs in a red silk robe, her hair perfectly styled despite having just woken up, her expensive perfume leaving a trail in the air. She is 38 years old, with the face of someone who regularly gets cosmetic treatments and a cold gaze that never shows genuine affection. Christine enters the kitchen, sees Lauren placing the coffee on the tray, and her face takes on the expression of someone evaluating defective merchandise. "You're taking too long, Lauren. The family can't wait just because you're slow." The voice is sharp, without a trace of kindness. Lauren lowers her head, swallows the humiliation as she does every day, and whispers, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Hamilton. It's ready now." She hasn't called her mom in 6 years. Christine forbade it. Moments later, the twins, Brandon and Brooke, come running down the stairs, shouting excitedly about the presents they expect to find under the tree. Both are 12 years old, with blonde hair and light eyes like their mother, wearing designer clothes that are replaced every season. They pass by Lauren as if she were part of the furniture. Not even a good morning escapes their lips. Brandon goes straight to the refrigerator, grabs the juice, and as he turns, he deliberately knocks over the glass Lauren had just placed on the table. The orange liquid spreads across the light porcelain tile, forming a bright puddle. Brandon looks at Lauren with a malicious smirk and says, "Oops, clean that up, Maid." Brooke laughs, amused by her brother's cruelty, and adds, "And hurry up, we're about to eat breakfast." Lauren grabs a cloth without a word, kneels on the floor and cleans the mess while the two sit at the table talking as if she doesn't exist. Christine sits at the head of the table, watches Lauren cleaning the floor, and makes a seemingly casual comment, but one loaded with venom. "Lauren, after breakfast, you will wash all the dishes, clean the living room, and prepare the vegetables for tonight's supper. Your father arrives tonight and everything needs to be perfect." The word father sounds strange coming from Christine, as if it were a concession she makes only to keep up appearances. Lauren rises from the floor, tosses the dirty cloth in the sink, and answers in a low, almost inaudible voice, "Yes, ma'am." Inside, her heart races at the thought of her father coming home. Michael has been traveling for 3 weeks, and Lauren can barely remember the last time they truly talked. Maybe this Christmas will be different. Maybe he'll finally notice. Maybe he'll finally see her. Maybe this Christmas, he'll finally really see me, Lauren thinks, repeating the mantra that keeps her alive to herself. While the family eats breakfast in the heated dining room, laughter and conversation filling the air, Lauren eats alone in the kitchen, standing up, finishing a piece of dry bread and the cold coffee left in the pot. She looks out the window and sees the Christmas lights twinkling in the garden, the snow falling softly outside, and allows herself for a brief instant to imagine what it would be like to sit at the table with her father, to be hugged by him, to hear him say he loves her. But Christine's voice shouting from the dining room, "Lauren, come get these plates," shatters the daydream, and the cruel reality pulls her back. Lauren wipes her mouth with the back of her hand, takes a deep breath to hold back the tears threatening to fall, and gets back to work. After all, this is her place now. This is who she has become over the last 6 years. The invisible girl, her own family's maid, the forgotten daughter in a cold little room at the back of the mansion where she was once loved. The day drags on, heavy as the cold seeping through the mansion's cracks, and Lauren moves through the house in silence, completing each task with the mechanical precision born from years of fear and submission. After cleaning the kitchen and putting away all the breakfast dishes, she climbs the stairs, carrying a basket of dirty laundry. It's the twins' bath towels, which they use only once before throwing them on the floor. Her arms ache, but she can't complain, can't show weakness. As she passes through the second-floor hallway, Lauren glances at the door of the room that was once hers, spacious, overlooking the garden, with the floral wallpaper her mother had chosen before she died. Now that room belongs to Brooke, and Lauren isn't even allowed to enter without permission. The pain of this memory is sharp, cutting, but Lauren has learned to swallow these pains along with her breath. In Brooke's room, the girl is sprawled on the king-size bed, scrolling through her latest model phone, surrounded by imported stuffed animals and clothes scattered everywhere. When Lauren knocks politely on the door, Brooke doesn't even look up from the screen. Just come in, and while you're at it, pick up these clothes off the floor. This place is a dump. The tone is that of someone giving orders to a subordinate, without kindness, without acknowledging she's speaking to her half-sister. Lauren enters, bends down, and begins to gather the expensive clothes tossed on the floor: party dresses, designer pants, silk blouses. Brooke continues to scroll, but suddenly lets out a mean little laugh and says, "You know, Lauren, I was thinking, you should be grateful you have a place to sleep and food to eat. My mom could have thrown you out ages ago." Lauren freezes for a second, the words stabbing deep like knives, but she doesn't answer. She never answers. After collecting Brooke's clothes, Lauren goes to Brandon's room, who is playing video games on a giant screen, the loud sound shaking the walls. The floor is covered in chip bags, empty soda cans, and carelessly tossed controllers. Lauren knocks, but Brandon doesn't hear or pretends not to. She enters slowly, starts gathering the trash, and Brandon pauses the game just long enough to turn and say, "Don't touch my controllers, okay? Last time you almost broke one. And clean properly under the bed. It smells awful in here." Lauren murmurs a yes, so quiet it barely makes a sound, kneels to clean under the bed, and finds moldy food scraps that Brandon hid and forgot. The smell is nauseating, but she cleans it all because this is her function now, to clean up others' messes, both literal and metaphorical. At noon, when the sun is high but the cold remains biting, Lauren finishes cleaning the rooms and goes downstairs to prepare lunch. Christine is in the living room on the phone, laughing loudly with a friend, planning a New Year's Eve party. When Lauren passes by carrying the vacuum, Christine covers the phone with her hand and calls out, "Lauren, come here!" The girl approaches, her heart speeding up. These summons never bring anything good. Christine points to the expensive Persian rug in the living room and says, "Do you see this stain here? How did you miss this? Your job is to keep this house immaculate. Was your mother this sloppy too, or did you inherit the incompetence all on your own?" The mention of her deceased mother is a low blow, calculated to hurt, and it works. Lauren feels tears burning her eyes, but she doesn't let them fall. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Hamilton. I'll clean it right now." Christine returns to her phone call as if nothing happened, and Lauren kneels on the rug, scrubbing an invisible stain that may not even exist, but which serves as an excuse for one more humiliation. In the afternoon, while preparing the vegetables for the supper, peeling potatoes, chopping carrots, cleaning celery stalks, Lauren allows herself to sink into a flashback that visits her mind with painful frequency. She was 10 when her father introduced Christine as his new special friend. Her mother had died of cancer just a year earlier, and the wound was still open, bleeding. But her father seemed so happy, so alive again, that Lauren tried to accept it. In the first few months, Christine was sweet, attentive. She took Lauren for ice cream, praised her drawings, said she would be the best stepmother in the world. But everything changed after the wedding. First came the subtle criticisms. Lauren, you eat too much. Lauren, your clothes are old, how embarrassing. Lauren, can't you do anything right? Then, the changes in routine. Lauren, from now on, you'll help with the chores to learn responsibility. Then, the room transfer. Lauren, the twins need more space. You're moving to the smaller room down the hall. And finally, the final blow. Lauren, this little room in the back will be better for you to study in peace, without distractions. Lauren remembers with painful clarity the day she was moved to the servants' quarters. She had just turned 11. There was no party, no cake. Christine said she was too old for that nonsense. That night, Lauren carried her few belongings to the small room at the back, and when she closed the door, she looked around and realized it wasn't a room, it was storage, it was exile, it was a prison. The walls were damp, the mattress was thin and old, there was no heater. She cried all night, shaking from cold and pain, waiting for her father to appear, to say it was a mistake, that he didn't know, that he would fix everything. But her father didn't appear. He was traveling for work, as always, and when he called the next day, Christine answered and said, "Lauren is wonderful, dear. She loves the new room, says it's perfect for studying." And he believed her. He always believed her. As the years passed, the situation only worsened. Christine confiscated Lauren's cell phone, saying that girls your age don't need phones, they only cause trouble. She cut off contact with the few friends Lauren had, claiming they're a bad influence. She forbade Lauren from eating dinner with the family, arguing that you eat too slowly and interrupt our conversation. She turned the girl into an unpaid maid, forcing her to clean, cook, serve under a veiled threat. "If you tell your father anything, I'll say you're lying, that you're trying to destroy our family, and he will believe me, not you." And the worst part was, Christine was right. Lauren tried to tell him a few times in the rare moments she managed to speak with her father alone, but Christine was always nearby, always interrupting, always controlling the narrative. And Michael, tired from his travels, distracted by work, chose to believe the more convenient version, the version that didn't require confrontation. Now, at 16, Lauren is chopping vegetables in the cold kitchen, and the tears finally begin to stream silently down her face. She doesn't try to stop them. She's alone. No one will see. She picks up the knife and continues cutting carrots into perfect rounds, the repetitive motion almost meditative, and thinks of all the letters she wrote to her father over the years. Dozens of them, perhaps hundreds, hidden in the lining of the mattress in her room. Letters where she begs for help, where she tells him about the abuse, where she says she just wants to be his daughter again and not a maid. But the letters were never sent because Lauren has no way to send them, no phone, no money, no access to the mail. The letters are silent witnesses to her pain, collecting dust under the thin mattress, waiting for someone to read them, someone who will finally believe. At 5 in the afternoon, as the sun is setting and the house is decorated and tidy for the supper, Christine calls Lauren into the living room. The 13-foot Christmas tree sparkles with golden lights, and beneath it is a mountain of presents wrapped in expensive paper. "Lauren, these presents here are for the twins and your father. This one," Christine points to a small, poorly wrapped package in the corner, "is yours. Don't open it now, wait until tomorrow." Lauren looks at the pathetic little gift, obviously an afterthought, something Christine bought just so she wouldn't look completely cruel. But she says nothing. She just murmurs a quiet, "Thank you," and returns to the kitchen. As she passes the mirror in the hallway, Lauren stops for an instant and looks at her reflection. A girl who is too thin, eyes hollow with fatigue, clothes old and baggy. She barely recognizes herself. Where is the Lauren who was once loved by her father? Where is the girl who laughed who played, who believed in happy endings. Night falls on the mansion, and Lauren finishes the preparations for the supper. The table is set with an embroidered white tablecloth, fine china, silver cutlery, and scented candles. Everything is perfect, exactly as Christine demanded. But Lauren knows she won't sit at the table, she never does. She will serve the plates, stand waiting for orders, and eat later alone, whatever scraps are left. As she lights the candles, Lauren closes her eyes for a moment and makes a silent prayer, as she does every Christmas. Mom, if you can hear me from wherever you are, please make Dad see me. Just that. I just want him to really see me. And then, as if the universe had heard, Lauren hears the sound of the front door opening, the deep, familiar voice of her father entering the house. I'm home! Merry Christmas, everyone! Her heart leaps. He's here. Maybe this Christmas he'll finally really see me. The front door opens with a gust, bringing in a blast of cold air and snowflakes that dance in the air before melting on the expensive entryway rug. Michael Hamilton enters, carrying Italian leather briefcases, a bag full of gifts wrapped in gold paper, and the exhaustion etched on the face of a 45-year-old man who spends more time in airports than at home. He is tall, his broad shoulders just beginning to stoop under the weight of years of travel and endless meetings, his hair graying at the temples and brown eyes that once shone with more life. I'm home. Merry Christmas, everyone. His voice echoes through the mansion, deep and familiar, and the sound hits Lauren in the kitchen like a warm wave that both soothes and stings. She drops the knife she was holding, wipes her trembling hands on her apron, and for a moment allows herself to take a deep breath, closing her eyes as she thinks, he's home. From the second floor, the twins' excited shouts are heard. Dad's home! Brandon and Brooke race down the stairs, nearly tripping in their haste, and throw themselves into their father's arms with the energy of genuine missing him. Michael laughs, a rough but real sound, and hugs them both at once, swinging them back and forth as he did when they were smaller. Brooke points to the bags with eyes shining with childish greed. Did you bring presents? Let me see. Michael taps her hand lightly, teasing, Hold on, eager beaver. Presents are only for tomorrow morning under the tree. That's the Christmas rule. Christine descends the stairs with the calculated elegance of an actress who knows she is being watched, a tight red dress accentuating her curves, her expensive perfume leaving a trail that fills the air. Darling, I missed you so much. Was the trip exhausting? Her voice is honey poured over a sharp blade, sweet and dangerous at the same time. Michael smiles tiredly, running a hand through his hair. Exhausting, but we closed the big contracts. It was worth it. Michael looks around the house, impressed by the Christmas decorations sparkling in every corner, garlands on the stairs, golden lights in the windows, the giant tree in the living room. You decorated all this yourself. It's beautiful, honey. Christine laughs, a sound as melodious and false as a flat note, and runs her hand possessively down her husband's arm. Oh, you know I love taking care of our home. Everything has to be perfect for you. She doesn't mention Lauren, of course, doesn't mention it was her stepdaughter who cleaned every room, who hung every ornament, who spent hours on her knees scrubbing the floor until it shone. Michael sets his bags on the floor and finally looks around, searching. And Lauren, where's my daughter? The question is casual, almost distracted, but for Lauren, who is standing in the kitchen doorway, holding a dish towel with trembling hands, those words are a life raft thrown to someone drowning. She takes a timid step forward, her voice coming out too low. I'm here, Dad. Michael turns his head, sees his daughter standing there in her simple uniform and old shoes, and smiles a quick, automatic smile, lacking depth. Hi, Lauren. How are you? Lauren feels her heart sink in her chest, a familiar weight she knows all too well, and whispers to the empty air, Everything's Everything's fine, Dad. But he isn't listening. Christine is already pulling him by the hand, leading him into the living room, talking about the trip, about how excited the twins are. Lauren remains frozen in the kitchen doorway, invisible once more, and something inside her breaks a little further, like glass slowly cracking. She steps back behind the walls that protect her, back to the vegetables she needs to finish chopping, back to the place where no one sees her. But before she disappears, she hears Christine's voice, sweet as poisoned honey. "Lauren, finish preparing the supper. Your father is tired and will want to eat soon." Half an hour later, the family is gathered in the dining room, the long table decorated with a hand-embroidered white cloth, vanilla-scented candles burning in silver holders. Michael sits at the head, Christine to his right, Brandon and Brooke on either side, and there is one empty chair in the corner that no one comments on. Lauren enters, carrying a heavy platter with the roast turkey, golden potatoes surrounding it, fresh rosemary for garnish, and the smell is delicious because she prepared everything with care. She places the platter in the center of the table, careful not to spill anything, and stands there, waiting for orders like a trained servant. Michael looks up, notices his daughter standing beside him, and frowns slightly. "Lauren, why don't you sit with us?" Before Lauren can answer, before she can speak the truth that has been burning her throat for 6 years, Christine intervenes with the skill of someone who has mastered this dance. "Oh, honey, you know how teenagers are. Lauren prefers to eat later, on her own schedule. She's always on some diet or having those weird snacks young people eat." The lie flows so naturally, wrapped in a tone of understanding and even mild amusement, that Michael sees no reason to doubt it. He looks to Lauren for confirmation, and the girl, under Christine's sharp glare, just nods in mute agreement. "Yeah, that's right, Dad." Michael shrugs, already losing interest, and turns his attention back to the turkey. "All right then, as you wish." During dinner, the family talks animatedly while Lauren serves the plates, first Michael's, then Christine's, then the twins with precise trained movements. Michael talks about his trip. "It was grueling, 3 straight weeks between New York, D.C. and Chicago, but we closed major contracts. The firm is going to expand even more." Christine smiles, proud. "You work so hard, darling, but we're so proud of you." The twins agree with rehearsed enthusiasm, and Lauren wonders if they truly feel proud or if they're just repeating what their mother taught them to say. She finishes serving and retreats to the corner of the room, standing by the wall, waiting in case anyone needs anything else. After dinner, the family moves to the living room, where the giant tree glows with hundreds of golden lights that reflect off the imported crystal ornaments. Beneath it, there is a mountain of gifts, large boxes wrapped in expensive paper, silk ribbons, handwritten cards with perfect calligraphy. Brooke uses the spoiled child's voice that always works on her father. "Can't we open just one little present, please?" Michael laughs and gives in. "All right, just one, but choose carefully." The twins shout with joy and dive into the boxes, searching for the biggest ones, while Lauren watches from a distance, standing in the doorway, invisible as always. The Christmas dawn arrives silent, heavy, burdened with the stillness that only exists in the darkest hours of the night, when even dreams seem to sleep. It's 3 in the morning, and the Hamilton mansion is plunged into darkness, only the lights from the Christmas tree blinking faintly in the living room, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Michael wakes up suddenly, his throat dry, his head still fuzzy from the accumulated exhaustion of weeks of travel, and turns over in the king-size bed, seeing Christine sleeping soundly beside him. He gets up carefully so as not to wake her, wearing only pajama pants and a t-shirt, and goes downstairs in the dark, the fine wooden floorboards creaking softly. As he passes the hallway that leads to the back of the house, a hallway he rarely uses, he hears something that makes him stop. A muffled sound, faint but the unmistakable sound of someone crying. Michael furrows his brow, confused. wondering if one of the twins had a nightmare, but the sound isn't coming from the second-floor bedrooms, it's coming from the back, from the service area. He walks slowly, following the sound, and reaches a door he doesn't even remember existing, a simple, cheap wooden door, unpainted with a rusty knob. The crying is coming from inside, quiet, as if the person crying is trying to silence themselves but can't, and Michael hesitates, his hand hovering over the doorknob. Part of him wants to go back to bed, to pretend he heard nothing, but something stronger, perhaps a long dormant fatherly instinct, makes him turn the knob and push. What he sees on the other side freezes the blood in his veins and makes the world around him shatter into pieces. The room is minuscule, suffocating even in the cold of the early morning, 60 square feet at most, with water-damaged walls climbing in dark, sinister stains, a low ceiling with a dim bulb hanging from it. The only light comes from the moon, shining through the small broken window, through which the cold wind blows relentlessly, bringing in snowflakes that melt on the cracked sill. There is a single bed against the wall, a thin old mattress sunk in the middle, a threadbare blanket barely covering the small body huddled on it, trembling from the cold. And in that body, Michael recognizes, with a shock that steals the air from his lungs, his daughter Lauren, lying in the fetal position, wearing old, torn pajamas that should have been thrown out years ago. "Lauren!" Michael's voice comes out hoarse, almost inaudible, thick with confusion and something that is starting to feel like horror, rising in his throat like bile. Lauren starts, whipping her head around, her eyes wide with shock and shame, trying to hide the photo of her mother she was clutching to her chest under the pillow. She wipes her tears with the back of her hand and tries to compose herself, but she is shaking so hard from cold, from fear, from accumulated emotional exhaustion that she can barely speak. "Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake anyone." Michael takes a step into the room, and it's as if every detail of the environment assaults his senses. The smell of mold mixed with the damp cold, the moisture on the walls forming sinister patterns, the miserable bed where his daughter has been sleeping for how long? Michael looks around with eyes that are finally beginning to see. He sees the old, doorless wardrobe where a few old clothes hang. He sees the rusty nail in the wall, holding a maid's uniform. There are no posters, no books, no mirror, nothing personal, nothing that makes this place look like a real bedroom. Just a small window facing the high back wall. "What? What are you doing in here?" The question comes out almost as a whisper because Michael still can't process what he's seeing, his brain refusing to accept it. I sleep here, Dad." The words are simple, but they carry the weight of mountains crashing down on Michael's shoulders, crushing him. He shakes his head, refusing to believe what he's hearing. "What do you mean you sleep here? Where is your room? The room with the floral wallpaper your mother decorated?" He's starting to speak louder, the confusion giving way to something dangerous, something he hasn't felt in a long time, pure rage beginning to boil in his chest. Lauren looks down, her voice coming out so low he has to step closer to hear. "This is my room, Dad. It has been for 6 years. 6 years." The words echo in Michael's mind like gunshots, piercing every certainty he had about his life, his family, his reality. 6 years? Michael repeats, his voice trembling like a leaf in the wind, and he looks around again, now with eyes that are finally starting to see the truth. How did I not know this? Why didn't anyone tell me? Lauren finally lifts her eyes, and what Michael sees in them shatters him in a way he never imagined possible. It isn't anger, it isn't accusation, it's profound resignation, the exhaustion of someone who has long since given up on being heard, on being seen. "I tried to tell you, Dad, so many times, but you were never home. And when you called, Christine always answered and said I was studying or sleeping or busy. The words come out slowly, each one hurting like a confession of shared failure between father and daughter, and Michael feels his legs weaken. "Tell me everything, now, from the beginning." Michael's voice is low, dangerous, the voice he uses in court when he's about to destroy an opponent, and Lauren recognizes this tone. She takes a deep breath and begins to speak, her voice breaking with every word. She tells him how, right after the wedding, Christine began to criticize her, to make her feel inadequate and ugly. She tells him how she was gradually moved from the main bedroom to a smaller room, then to a smaller one still, until finally ending up in this servant's quarters at the back of the mansion. She tells him how Christine confiscated her cell phone, cut off contact with her friends, isolated her completely from the outside world like a prisoner. She tells him how she was forced to take over the household chore, cleaning, cooking, serving, while the twins were spoiled and treated like royalty who didn't get their hands dirty. "The letters," Lauren whispers suddenly, remembering, and she gets off the bed, kneeling on the floor to shove her hand between the mattress and the old wooden frame. She pulls out a thick, battered notebook, its cover stained with damp, and holds it out to her father with trembling hands. "I wrote so many letters to you, Dad, telling you all of this, begging." Michael takes the notebook as if it's a bomb about to explode in his hands, opens it to the first page, and sees Lauren's handwriting still childish, because it was written when she was 11. "Dear Daddy, Christine hit me today because I broke a plate by accident. She said I'm stupid, just like my mom. Please come home soon. I love you, Lauren." He turns the page, and there's another letter, and another, dozens, perhaps hundreds of letters, each one more desperate than the last, each one a cry for help that he never received. Michael reads letter after letter, and every word is a stab to his heart. Every ignored plea is an accusation he cannot deny or escape. "Daddy, they moved me to a smaller room and there's no heater and it's so cold. Daddy, I miss my bed. Daddy, Christine said you don't love me anymore, is that true? Daddy, I just wish I had a hug. Daddy, please just see me." Tears begin to fall from Michael's eyes, wetting the pages, blurring the ink that Lauren wrote with a hope that died slowly. How did he not see this? How did he let this happen? He was a lawyer, trained to detect lies, to protect the innocent, and he had utterly failed to protect his own child, the child he brought into the world. Guilt explodes in his chest like a bomb, and he collapses to his knees right there on the dirty floor of the small room, the notebook clutched to his chest, sobbing like he hadn't since the funeral. The Christmas dawn breaks slowly, shyly, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange that can barely pierce the heavy, snow-laden clouds. Michael has been sitting on the cold floor of the small room for nearly 2 hours, his back against the damp wall, Lauren curled up beside him, with her head resting on his shoulder for the first time in years. Neither of them slept. They just remained there, in a heavy but necessary silence, as the terrible truth settled between them like a third presence in the tiny room. The notebook of letters is open on Michael's lap, and he reads each one again, searing every word into his memory, every ignored plea, every cry for help that never reached him. The rage that began as an ember deep in his chest is now an uncontrollable fire rising in his throat, burning his eyes, making his hands shake as he closes the notebook carefully. "Lauren, look at me." Michael's voice comes out raw from crying, but there is a firmness in it that wasn't there before, a steel determination forged in guilt and anger. Lauren lifts her head from her father's shoulder, her eyes swollen and red, and meets his gaze. It's a look she hasn't seen since she was a child, the look of a father who protects, who fights, who doesn't give up. "I am going to fix this. Do you hear me? I'm going to fix every single piece of what I allowed to be broken." Michael holds his daughter's face in both hands, forcing her to maintain eye contact, and Lauren sees fresh tears streaming down his face. Christine is going to pay for what she did. She is leaving this house today. Today. Michael stands up with a sudden movement, helping Lauren up as well, and the adrenaline of righteous anger begins to course through his veins like a purifying poison. "Stay here. I'll be right back." But Lauren grabs his arm, her voice a terrified whisper. "Dad, no. She'll be angry. She always gets angry when I—" Michael cuts her off, turning fully to his daughter, and the expression on his face is that of a man who has finally woken from a nightmare and is ready to fight. "She will never do anything to you again, ever again, Lauren. I swear that on your mother's memory. Now wait for me here." He kisses his daughter's forehead, a gesture he hadn't made in so long. Lauren barely recognizes the feeling, and then he leaves the small room with heavy, determined steps. Michael storms up the stairs toward the master suite with the controlled fury of a lawyer who knows exactly how to destroy an opponent. But this time, it isn't in a courtroom, it's in his own home, against the woman he trusted. He throws the bedroom door open, slamming it against the wall, and Christine jolts awake, sitting up in the king-size bed with a confused, sleepy expression. "Michael? What time is it? Why are you waking me up like this?" She tries to smile, the smile that always worked to soften situations, but something in her husband's posture, tense shoulders, clenched jaw, bloodshot eyes, makes her pause. "We need to talk, now. Get downstairs to the study." His voice is cutting ice, with no trace of the gentleness he used to use with her. Christine frowns, irritation beginning to replace her confusion because she isn't used to being spoken to in this tone. "Talk about what?" "You're scaring me, honey. What happened?" She still tries to use the term of endearment, still tries to manipulate, but Michael isn't taking the bait this time. He's immune to the venom she distills so masterfully. "About Lauren, about the servants' quarters, about 6 years of lies." The words fall like bombs in the luxurious bedroom, and Michael sees the exact moment Christine's face changes. Her eyes widen slightly, her mouth forms a small "oh," and she understands she's been caught. Fear flashes across her features for a second before being replaced by a careful mask of offended innocence. But Michael saw it, and now he recognizes every micro-expression she always used to lie. "I don't know what you're talking about." Christine tries to keep her voice steady, but there's a tremor at the edges she can't completely control, and she gets out of bed, grabbing the silk robe hanging on the chair. Michael takes a step toward her, and never in 10 years of marriage has he looked at this woman with the kind of contempt that now burns in his eyes. "Do not lie to me." Each word is spoken separately, slowly, loaded with a threat that makes Christine instinctively recoil. "I saw where my daughter sleeps. I saw the cold little room, the miserable bed, the water-damaged walls. I read the letters, Christine. All of them. 236 letters where she begged for help." His voice is rising now, his control beginning to crack under the weight of righteous anger. Christine realizes she can't deny it, so she switches tactics with the agility of a born survivor, and her face contorts into an expression of a misunderstood victim. "Michael, honey, let me explain. It's not what you're thinking." She tries to get closer, tries to touch his arm, but Michael flinches away as if her touch would burn him. "Lauren needed discipline. She was getting so spoiled. I just wanted to teach her responsibility for her own good." The excuse sounds pathetic even to Christine's own ears, but she keeps trying, desperate now. "I never really hurt her. I was just a little firm sometimes, but it was necessary. You were always traveling. Someone had to raise her." The words come out faster and faster, tumbling over each other, and Michael feels disgust rising in his throat. "Get down to the study. Now." Michael doesn't shout, It doesn't need to, because the low, deadly tone of his voice is more terrifying than any scream could be. It's the voice he uses for hostile witnesses in court. Christine understands there is no way out, that the mask has finally fallen, and she walks down the stairs with Michael behind her, their footsteps echoing in the silent mansion where the rest of the family still sleeps. They enter the mahogany and leather study, and Michael closes the door with a click that sounds like a prison cell locking. Sit. Christine sits in the chair facing the desk, and for the first time in all these years, she is in the inferior position of power, awaiting judgment. Michael stands, leaning against the desk, looking down at the woman he thought he knew, and the words come out as sharp as razor blades. How long did you think you could hide this? How long did you think I wouldn't find out you turned my daughter into a slave? Christine tries to interrupt, but he raises a hand, silencing her. You isolated her, took her phone, cut off her friends. You moved her to a filthy room. You forced her to serve your family like a maid. You lied to me for 6 years. Each accusation is delivered with surgical precision, and Christine is growing pale, the silk robe suddenly looking like a shroud. And you know what the worst part is? You did it because she reminded you of my first wife. You couldn't stand that I had loved another woman before you. Christine finally loses her composure completely, the mask of innocence shattering into a million irreparable pieces, and the venom she has held back for years finally spews out unfiltered. So what? So what if I did it? That girl was competing with me for your love from day one. She looked at me with those same pitiful eyes of her mother's, reminding me I would always be the second choice. Her voice rises to a near hysterical shriek, and Michael feels his blood run cold as he hears the confirmation of everything he already knew but hadn't wanted to believe. I gave you children, Michael. I gave you a real family. But you always had that picture of her in your office, always talked about her like she was some saint. Lauren had to learn her place in this house, and her place was not by your side. The words are a vomit of jealousy and rage accumulated over a decade, and Christine is on her feet now, shaking with uncontrolled emotion. The silence that follows Christine's explosion is deafening, heavy as lead, filling the study, choking the air between the mahogany walls. Michael is paralyzed for a moment, processing the venomous words he just heard, and for the first time in his life, he sees with absolute clarity the monster he brought into his house, near his daughter. Get out of my house! The words come out low, but loaded with a finality that allows for no negotiation or appeal, like a judge's sentence that has been delivered and cannot be reversed. Christine stops screaming, her face still red with rage, and for a moment she thinks she misheard. What? Michael steps closer, and there is something in his eyes that makes Christine instinctively back away, something she has never seen before. It's the look of a man who has finally stopped being passive and is ready to destroy anyone who threatened what he loves. You have 1 hour to pack your bags and leave. Take what is yours. Leave the rest. And you will never come near Lauren again. Michael speaks slowly, articulating each word with the clarity of a lawyer giving instructions that cannot be misinterpreted. And Christine finally understands he is serious. You can't kick me out. This is my house too. I am your wife. She tries to use her status as a weapon, but Michael is immune now. The lies don't work anymore once the truth has been exposed in the harsh light. This house is in my name. You signed a prenuptial agreement, and you just confessed to abuse against a minor in front of me, an attorney, who will testify against you if necessary. The legal threat hangs in the air, and Christine pales as she understands the implications. And my children? You're going to separate me from my children? Christine plays the last card she has, the twins, knowing Michael has a soft spot for them, but this time, he's prepared. The twins are going with you. I am filing for divorce on Monday, and we will settle custody in court, where I will present all the evidence of what you did to Lauren. He pulls open a desk drawer and takes out the notebook of letters, tossing it onto the mahogany desk with a dull thud. 236 letters, written testimony spanning 6 years, photographic evidence of the room, the victim's own testimony. Do you really think any judge is going to give you full custody? Christine looks at the notebook as if it's a venomous snake poised to strike, and for the first time, she understands she has lost completely. You will regret this. The threat comes out weak, desperate, because Christine has no power here anymore, and they both know it. I'll hire the best lawyers. I'll fight. Michael cuts her off with a bitter, humorless laugh. Hire whoever you want. I have the truth on my side. And you have a recorded confession. He gestures to the phone in his pocket, and Christine feels the floor disappear from beneath her as she realizes he recorded everything, every venomous word, every angry confession, every admission of guilt she spat out in the last 10 minutes. You recorded me? That's illegal. She tries to argue, but Michael smiles, and it's the smile of a shark that has smelled blood. Not when it's to protect a minor from ongoing abuse. Any judge will accept it as evidence, and you know it. Christine understands she's trapped, that there is no way out, and the rage gives way to a pathetic attempt to negotiate through fake tears that begin to stream down her carefully maintained face. Michael, please, we can talk about this. I exaggerated, I was angry, but I can change. We can do family therapy, I can. But Michael is immune to her tears, no. We saw his daughter's real tears in the cold little room, and these false ones have no power over him. 45 minutes. The clock is ticking. He opens the study door, a final gesture of dismissal, and Christine understands it's truly over, that this battle was lost before it even began, because she underestimated the love of a father who had finally woken up. Christine walks up the stairs with heavy, defeated steps, and Michael follows at a distance to ensure she doesn't try anything against Lauren. In the bedroom, Christine begins throwing clothes into designer suitcases, and the noise wakes the twins, who appear at the door with sleepy, confused expressions. "Mommy? What's going on? Why are you packing?" Brandon asks, rubbing his eyes, and Brooke clutches the doorframe, visible fear on her face as she senses the tension in the air. Christine pauses for a moment, looks at the children she does, in fact love in the twisted, selfish way she is capable of loving, and tries to control her voice. "Go get some clothes, my loves. We're going to spend a few days at Grandma's house. It'll be fun." She tries to sound excited, but the children aren't stupid. They see the tears, they see the bags being packed in a hurry, they see their father standing in the doorway with an expression carved from stone. "Daddy?" Brooke turns to her father, her voice small and scared, and Michael feels his heart clench, because these children are innocent in this story, victims also of the mother who used them as weapons. "What's happening?" Michael kneels to her level, softening his expression for the first time since he woke up. "Your mother and I are going to separate for a while, and she's taking you to stay with Grandma while we sort some things out, okay?" He tries to simplify it, to spare the children the sordid details, because despite everything, it's not their fault. Brandon, older by 15 minutes and always more perceptive, frowns. Is it because of Lauren? Is it because of what we did to her? The question comes out loaded with a dawning childish guilt, because even spoiled children know when they're on the wrong side. Michael sighs, deciding that honesty is necessary, even if it hurts. "Partly, yes. You two treated Lauren very badly, and that needs to change. But the main problem is between me and your mother." Brandon and Brooke look at each other, and something unspoken passes between the twins. Perhaps the tardy understanding that the laughter they shared at their half-sister's humiliation wasn't so funny after all. Can we apologize to her?" Brooke asks, her voice trembling, and Michael feels a flicker of hope that perhaps these children aren't completely lost. You can, and you should. But later, when everyone has calmed down a bit, the twins nod and go to pack some clothes, and Michael returns to watching Christine, who is zipping the last suitcase with brusque, angry movements. Half an hour later, Christine is at the front door, 3 suitcases beside her, the twins clinging to her with confusion and fear in their childish eyes, and Michael holding the door open with an implacable expression. My lawyer will contact yours on Monday. Until then, you don't call here, you don't come here, and you don't try to contact Lauren. The instructions are clear, and Christine nods, hatred in her eyes, promising this isn't over, that she will fight. You will regret this, Michael. I will make sure you regret this. The last threat is spat with venom, but Michael doesn't flinch. The only thing I regret is not seeing who you really were sooner. Now get out. He gestures to her car in the driveway, and Christine, with one last look of pure hatred, puts the bags in the trunk, puts the twins in the back seat, and pulls away from the property under the snow that has begun to fall harder. Michael closes the door, leans his forehead against the cold wood, and allows himself a moment of weakness where his entire body trembles with adrenaline and the emotional exhaustion of the last few hours. But there's no time to collapse. Lauren is still waiting in the small room, probably terrified, thinking he has abandoned her once again. He takes a deep breath, composes himself, and walks through the empty hallways of the mansion that suddenly feels far too large, too silent, until he reaches the small room at the back. He opens the door slowly and finds Lauren exactly where he left her, sitting on the old bed, hugging her knees to her chest, her eyes wide with fear. Is she gone? The question comes out in a whisper, as if Lauren is afraid the answer will be no, and Michael nods, entering the room and kneeling in front of his daughter. She's gone, my daughter. She's gone, and she is never coming back. Michael speaks in a voice that is rough but firm, kneeling in front of Lauren, who is still sitting on the old bed in the small room. He takes her hands in his, warming them because they are ice cold. Lauren looks at her father with wide eyes, barely believing what she's hearing, because for 6 years she imagined this moment but never truly believed it could happen. She's really gone? Her voice comes out in a broken whisper, freighted with a fragile hope that is still afraid to fully expand, because it has been crushed so many times before. Michael nods, and for the first time in years, Lauren sees tears streaming freely down her father's face, tears of guilt and relief mixed together. She's gone, and I am so sorry, Lauren. I'm so sorry it took me so long to see, to wake up, to protect you like I should have from day one. Lauren collapses then, the sobs she held back for so long finally exploding, shaking her entire thin body, and Michael pulls her into a hug, the first real hug in years. A hug where he holds her as if she's the most precious thing in the world, as if he can transfer through his touch all the love he failed to show. Forgive me, my daughter. Forgive me for being blind, for choosing work, for believing the lies, for leaving you alone in this horrible place. The words come out between his own sobs, and father and daughter cry together there in the cold little room that will soon be just a bad memory, releasing years of accumulated pain. Lauren clings to her father like a small child clinging to a life raft in a stormy sea. I just wanted you to see me, Dad. Just that. I just wanted you to really see me. And Michael holds her tighter, whispering against her hair. I see you now, my princess. I see you now, and I will never take my eyes off you again. They stay like that for what feels like an eternity, and yet not long enough, simply holding each other, healing wounds that took 6 years to open and will take much longer to fully scar over. When they finally separate, Michael wipes the tears from his daughter's face with his fingertips, a tender gesture he hadn't made since she was little, and says with renewed determination, "Come with me. There are a few things we need to do together. He stands, holding his hand out to Lauren, and when she takes it hesitantly at first, then more firmly, it's as if a silent pact is sealed between them. Lauren gets off the bed for the last time, looks around the small room that was her prison, and feels something strange stirring in her chest. It's not exactly relief yet. It's more like the first ray of sun after a long storm. Michael notices her gaze and promises, "You will never sleep here again. Ever." The first thing Michael does is take Lauren to the room that was hers as a child, the spacious room overlooking the garden, with the floral wallpaper her mother had chosen with such love. For the past few years, this room belonged to Brooke, and there are still toys and clothes scattered everywhere, but Michael doesn't care. "This room is yours. It always was. We'll pack up Brooke's things and put them in storage, and you will redecorate it however you want." Lauren enters slowly, almost afraid to step on the soft carpet, and her eyes fill with tears again as she recognizes details she thought she'd forgotten. The window where she used to watch the sunset, the mark on the wall where she measured her height at age 7, the closet where she used to play hide and seek with her father. I can really stay in here?" The question is loaded with disbelief, and Michael's heart breaks once more as he realizes his daughter can't believe she deserves something as basic as a decent room. "You not only can, you will." Michael opens the drawers and starts pulling out Brooke's clothes, putting them into boxes with decisive movements. And Lauren helps him shyly, still getting used to the idea that she's allowed to touch things, to take up space. They work side by side in comfortable silence, and when they finish emptying the room, Michael does something symbolic. He goes to the small room at the back, grabs the maid's uniform hanging on the rusty nail, and takes Lauren to the fireplace in the main living room. "Watch this." He throws the uniform onto the embers still glowing from the night before, and together they watch the fabric catch fire, curl, and finally turn to ash. "You are not a maid. You are my daughter, and you will never wear this again." Lauren watches the flames consume the symbol of her servitude, and she feels something heavy lift from her shoulders. It's not complete freedom yet, but it's a start. It's the promise that things will be different. For the rest of Christmas Day, father and daughter do simple but profoundly meaningful things together. Michael buys Lauren a new cell phone, reactivating her connection to the outside world that Christine had severed. He takes her to the kitchen, and together they prepare a simple supper. It's not the elaborate banquet Christine would have made, but it's made with love, with laughter when they mess up the salt, with conversations about small things that gradually become bigger. Lauren talks about school, about how she lost friends over the years, about the dreams she kept hidden because she saw no future where she could achieve them. Michael listens, really listens, asking questions, showing genuine interest. And with every word exchanged, the 6-year gap narrows 1 inch at a time. When the supper is finally ready, the turkey a bit dry, the mashed potatoes a bit lumpy, but honest, they sit at the dining room table, just the two of them, and Michael raises his glass of juice in a toast to our family, you and me, and to new beginnings. Lauren raises her glass, her voice still fragile but stronger than it was that morning. To our family. They eat slowly, savoring not just the food, but the moment of peace that had seemed impossible for so long. When Lauren accidentally spills a little gravy on the white tablecloth, she freezes, waiting for the scolding, the punishment. But Michael just laughs and says, "It's okay. It's just a tablecloth. We'll clean it later." And Lauren learns in that moment that mistakes can just be mistakes, not capital offenses, and that true love doesn't keep score of every small failure. After dinner, they go to the living room where the Christmas tree still sparkles with golden lights, and they sit together on the large sofa, Lauren curled against her father's shoulder with a warm blanket over them both. And they watch an old Christmas movie playing on television. It doesn't matter which one, because neither of them is really paying attention. They are just enjoying each other's presence. During the movie, Lauren hands something to her father. It's an old drawing, yellowed, folded and refolded so many times it's nearly tearing at the creases. It's a drawing she made when she was 10, before everything fell apart, showing her father and her mother holding hands under a smiling sun. I kept this all these years. It was the only thing that made me remember how things used to be. Michael takes the drawing with trembling hands, and it's like someone punched him in the chest, seeing the simple happiness captured in those childish lines, a happiness he allowed to be stolen from his daughter. Lauren... He can't continue, the emotion blocking his words, and he simply kisses her forehead, holding the drawing as if it's a priceless treasure. I promise you, I promise I will spend the rest of my life making up for these 6 years. I will never choose work over you again. I will never let anyone hurt you again. I always have. I lost my way. But I promise you, I've found my way back. I've found my way back to you. They stay like that late into the night, simply holding each other on the sofa. And when Lauren finally falls asleep, sleeping for the first time in 6 years, without fear, without cold, without loneliness, Michael carries her to her own room, covers her with a soft, warm comforter, and kisses her forehead before leaving. He stands in the doorway for a moment, watching his daughter sleep in peace, and makes a silent promise to the memory of his first wife. I will take care of her. This time, I'll get it right. The June sun streams through the open windows of Lauren's room, bringing a warm breeze and the smell of flowers from the garden she helped her father plant in the spring. Lauren wakes up slowly, stretching her arms above her head, and smiles a genuine, light smile, the kind of smile she'd forgotten how to make during the dark years. The room has been completely redecorated, walls painted a soft blue, posters of bands she likes, a bookshelf full of books she's reading, a study desk where she does her homework, and on the wall, framed, the old photo of her mother next to the drawing she gave her father at Christmas, reminders of where she came from and how much she has survived. She gets up, puts on new, comfortable clothes she picked out herself, and goes down to the kitchen where the smell of pancakes greets her. Michael is at the stove, spatula in hand, and turns when he hears her steps. "Good morning, sleepyhead. I thought I was going to have to come up and wake you." Lauren laughs, a sound that is now common in the house, but still warms Michael's heart every time he hears it. "Good morning, Dad. Pancakes on a weekday?" Michael shrugs, flipping the pancakes with a skill he's developed over the last few months of practice. Why not? Life is too short to eat boring toast every day. They sit at the table together and eat while talking about their plans for the day. Lauren has a math test at school. Michael has an important meeting but promised to be home at 6 for dinner, just as they do every night now. The conversations are light, punctuated by laughter, and anyone watching would think it had always been this way, never imagining the painful past they both carry. But the scars are still there, invisible but present. Lauren still has nightmares sometimes, still flinches when someone raises their voice, still struggles with the insecurity that 6 years of abuse carved deep into her soul. But she is healing, with the help of a therapist Michael hired, whom she sees twice a week, with the support of friends she has reconnected with and new ones she's made at school, and mostly with the unconditional love of a father who is truly present now. Michael cut his travel by 80%, works from home 3 days a week, and has turned weekends into sacred time dedicated to his daughter. They go to the movies, take walks in the park, cook together, simply exist in the same space without rush or distraction. The divorce from Christine was finalized last month. She tried to fight for full custody of the twins and a generous settlement, but the evidence was overwhelming. In the end, she was left with shared custody and basic alimony. The twins visit every other weekend, always supervised for the first few months, and gradually, Brandon and Brooke are learning, with a patience from Lauren that surprises everyone, how to behave like real siblings. At first, they were defensive. protecting their mother. But as the truth was revealed in the family therapy Michael insisted on, they began to understand the weight of what they had done and what they had witnessed without intervening. Brandon apologized first, in a handwritten letter that Lauren keeps to this day. "I didn't know I was really hurting you. I thought it was just a game. I'm sorry." Brooke took longer, but eventually she too came with her apology, accompanied by a hesitant hug that Lauren accepted because she is stronger than she knows. Now, when the twins visit, they play video games together, watch movies, and Lauren even teaches Brooke how to cook. The irony isn't lost on anyone, but Lauren decided that forgiveness frees more than resentment imprisons. Christine never apologized, probably never will, but Lauren is at peace with that because she finally understands that her validation doesn't need to come from her stepmother. Lauren is now sitting in the mansion's garden, under the tree where she and her father hung a hammock last week, reading a book for her literature class as the afternoon sun warms her skin. Michael comes out of the house with 2 glasses of lemonade, hands one to her, and sits on the grass next to the hammock. "How's the book?" Lauren marks her page, accepts the lemonade with a smile. "Good. Sad, but good. It's about a girl who loses her mom and has to learn to live with the pain." Michael nods thoughtfully. "Sounds familiar." Lauren looks at her father, and there is a mutual understanding in the look they exchange. They both lost the same woman. Both carried the grief in different ways. Both made mistakes and hurt each other in the process. "Dad? Yeah? Thank you for finally seeing me." Michael takes her hand, squeezes it gently. "Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I deserved it." And there, in the garden, bathed in the June sun, father and daughter share a comfortable silence, knowing the road is still long, that complete healing will take time, but that they are finally walking it together in the right direction. If this story touched your heart, please leave a like, so more people can watch and reflect on the importance of being present in the lives of those we love. Write in the comments, have you ever had to forgive someone in your family? What was that process like for you? Subscribe to the channel for more stories that make us think about family, forgiveness, and second chances, stories that heal wounds and ignite hope. And if you want to support our work to continue bringing these important narratives, click the thanks button below. Remember, no job is more important than being present for the people you brought into the world. True love isn't measured in luxurious mansions or expensive gifts. It's measured in hugs, time, and in truly seeing the person standing right next to you. Until the next story, and may we all learn to see the people we love before it's too late.